we're on,
We
and
are on.
this is. I'm back again
Yeah,
into
you're
the
back
scene, mate.
again.
By the
You're
way,
back. It's not
you
brother overload, yeah?
it's not last week's show. Last week's show. If people, it was a great show, by the way. I was listening to it whilst I was recovering from COVID. Actually,
Oh my gosh.
man, it was just
How are you, man? How are you?
I'm better, 100. Well, not 100%, but I'm better. I'm obviously
Okay.
I've tested negative and everything.
Mm.
What I hope I have, but it was just mad. Like seriously, the whole COVID thing, and you just think to yourself, oh yeah, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get it. No, you're gonna bloody get it at some point.
Yeah.
So it was my turn. It was like the tables were turned. So yeah, so thanks Emmanuel and Deval for doing the show and everything. That's all great. It was a brilliant show. If you didn't hear it, go check it out. Deval and Emmanuel, they reviewed Day Watch, which is
Day
the
shift.
daily. Oh, sorry, yeah,
Day shift, yeah.
yeah. On it's a new vampire movie on Netflix. So go check that one out. But listen, folks, today we're doing episode 203. We've got a big movie that we want to be speaking about. This new sci-fi movie from director Jordan Peele. We're going to get into that. So stick around for that one. And yeah, let's do the show, Devaldo. So let's do some shout-outs. Shouting out.
Yes, the first shout out goes to well, this is from YouTube actually. We always say to you, get in touch with us on all our social platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And this one is M. Worthy. So is he worthy? Do you reckon he can lift the hammer, the Thor? Well, you got the hammer on your shirt. Could he lift you? Probably.
You know what? This guy, I'm telling you, from the conversations that we've been having, this guy is like, he knows his stuff.
He knows his shit, man.
M. Worthy, he was coming because listen, it came about with the whole Prey review.
Prey,
Kind of spoke about Prey and was the whole Predator mythology and everything like that. So this guy, M. Worthy, he was like, great story and everything, and there's another kind of story within that set in the Comanche,
kind of 1800s, I think he said. Yeah, because in the comics, and other media iterations, the Predator, the lore goes on for a long time. There's lots of different species. I wish I can share some of the videos that I've seen of the different species of Predator. There's all kinds of breeds. There's interfighting. There was a human female that was such a good fighter that they took her on. Well, she forced her way into the Predator ranks and she lived among them for years, fighting, proving herself. And in Alien versus Predator, that's why I appreciate that film a lot more now. I learned in the comics that when a human or someone actually does a certain thing and they rank up, they get them just like you did, they get the marking of of the respect to show that they are a predator. And that happened in Alien versus Predator. I didn't understand it then, but now I understand it.
He marks her, doesn't he?
Exactly. And that's why she's able to run with the predator, and the predator rolls with her. Do you know what Predator? Some of the films ain't done it justice. Someone needs to do real justice to the Predator franchise. But that's what M. Worthy. I know someone like that person. They know what they're talking about, and maybe we should talk to them more about more Predator stuff. But we're rambling on now. Let's move on. But yeah, M. Worthy. Thank you for the comments, and big shout out to you.
Brilliant. All right, let's get on to movie news now. I can't remember, Deval, if we spoke about this on the show, but it's kind of like a bit surprising about this. But Beverly Hills Cop 4 is happening, and let me just get this straight. This is Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop, that he's actually coming back, and he's going to be reprising the role of Axel Foley. And to me, I'm like, this is big news, man, because this is one of his biggest movies.
Yeah.
He's really well known for Beverly Hills, and obviously he's well known for kind of like Come to America and everything, but this is a big one for him.
Massive one. And this is the fourth film. I think Eddie Murphy has a sort of deal. I think this is coming onto Netflix, isn't it?
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a deal. He's got a deal with with Netflix. He brought out he brought out a couple of films, isn't it? He brought out
remember Dolomite is My Name.
Dolomite is My Name. And I think Netflix, just like Jamie Foxx, they've got deals with Netflix where they're able to bring out these movies straight onto the streaming platform. They get that do-re-mi, they've got that captivated audience, and they know it's going to be, I think there's less risk when it comes to their box office the way box office works compared to streaming. But yeah, so I mean, I've got little hope. I'm gonna be honest. I've got little hope for this. I don't know if it's gonna be if it's gonna be better than what we've seen before. But if they can pull off a Maverick, a Top Gun Maverick, then
Oh
I
shit.
could be totally wrong, which I hope I am. I hope I'm wrong. So let's see what
Yeah,
happens with that one.
absolutely. We'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, man, Eddie Murphy's going to be back as
Yeah,
Axel Foley, so we'll watch out for that one. Now let's do this.
just started
Obviously,
filming. Yeah,
yeah. So all right, let's move on to this next one. Now, listen, Johnny Depp. Obviously, he was in the news, like for the. A couple of months ago, he was in the news like every single day. We were speaking about it on this show. You could watch his case with Amber Heard and everything. So the big thing with that was whether or not if he was going to be found guilty, what happens to his career, basically down the sink. It so transpired that he was found not guilty.
yeah,
He was actually awarded money by the end of it,
yeah.
and now Deval, this is going to kickstart his whole career again. So what's going on? Are we going to be seeing any more big movies soon?
Well, the talk is that there's been a big petition, massive following, massive support for Johnny Depp to now be cast in Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I mean, 4, 6. I'm losing
Six.
count. 6, Or if you're from New Zealand, 6. So yeah, so they want him back. There was obviously talk of him. He was. I think they were. The thing is, they were no, do not say they, Disney and so on. They were talking about casting him before this happened, and one of his big arguments was that because of this case that happened and what Amber Heard said about him, Disney reversed their decision,
Yeah.
and because there was
Do you think
nothing
he
really.
lost out?
Yeah, and because there was nothing really, I guess, secure in paper, contracts hadn't been signed, it was hard to really, argue a case of, loss of earnings if a contract wasn't set in stone. But people know they wanted him back in that role. So yeah, the long and short is that there's a massive petition, massive following on there, massive support. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are saying, get this guy back as Captain Jack Sparrow because no one else can play him like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's got kind of like the momentum now, and like
Yeah.
this whole thing. So we'll see what happens over there. I mean, I'm not too keen on the whole Pirates of the Caribbean, but
I've
and
lost count. It's
honestly,
just, yeah, it's
come
just.
on, man. Oh, by the way, listen. I can't remember if it was you or Emmanuel who someone said where they did you watch the those Dumbledore movies? Those
No,
Fantastic
no, no, no,
Beasts
no.
ones.
I've seen one of them, the one that Johnny Depp was in, and for the first 20 minutes or so, it was good, but I just lost interest after that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it was on TV, so I was like, whilst I was at home and everything, I was just like, let me just catch a bit of it. And you know what, man? I couldn't make heads or tails of the whole thing, but he was in this whole Fantastic Beast thing. I mean, he was in
yeah.
parts 1 and 2, and
Okay,
he wasn't in part 3.
okay.
So
There you
he
go.
lost out on that one. All right, listen, Amanda Stenberg. Tell me about this because this sounds interesting, Deval. What's going on here?
This is the film that you mentioned actually a couple of weeks ago. Bodies, bodies, bodies.
Bodies. Yeah.
Yes. So, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is the movie coming out. I think it's an A24 movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a horror comedy kind of movie. It stars Amanda, not to be confused with Amanda, but Amanda Stenberg, who we've seen in The Hate You Give, which is a really powerful movie
Yeah.
about, I guess, America, politics,
Race.
police violence, and stuff like that. She was in The Hunger Games. She's been in a few stuff, but yeah. So Amanda. So I just said it, Amanda Stenberg is in this movie, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And basically, some critics have seen it. And one critic came out and wrote that this movie is, it's this, and that. But it's basically an hour and a half of Amanda Stenberg's cleavage. And yeah, the critic kind of said the movie was just not really anything serious. It's just about cleavage and hot
Yeah.
people running around. And Amanda Stenberg lashed back on social media to this critic specifically, and just cussed back, saying, what you like, what you talking about? All you're going to do is talk about my cleavage. It just goes to show what kind of person you are. And it's just we're in a day and age now. I mean, I think the reason why I put this on here is because we're in this day and age of, I think, artists and people in the public eye, with these social media platforms, they have got a voice. If they don't like something they hear, and a lot of people, read and watch social media, they will lash back. So we live in an age now where we, as the Flixters, who knows if in maybe a year or two's time, when we actually do blow up, if something that
People
we've
are gonna
said.
get hunt us down, and they'll be like, seriously, they're gonna find something that
Yeah.
we've said. But no, it's so true though. But it's like this, like they obviously the actors and everything, they have like huge fan following, so they will get a lot of people behind them to kind of rally behind their cause and everything. So we've seen it happen, man. You can
Yeah,
get
it
cancelled.
happens. Yep, get cancelled just like that.
This guy, this this critic, who knows, probably his career's over.
It was another lady as well. It was another lady.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was a lady to lady. So it wasn't a man saying it was a lady. So
Oh, man.
but
That's even worse. All right, listen, look, I want to speak about this, right? So
yep.
you mentioned Jamie Foxx before, Devaldo, and about obviously streaming, and he's done obviously Day Watch. He's done this kind of deal. Well, check this out. I didn't even know about this. Jamie Foxx is a film directorial debut was actually made in 2016, Devaldo.
Oh yeah?
Did you know about this?
What was it called? The Fantastic Mr. Fox with George Clooney, or was that before?
No.
No, I didn't know.
I couldn't believe this. So I didn't even know about this. So this is a movie called All-Star Weekend. It was made in 2016. And check this cast list. Robert Downey Jr., Benicio del Toro, Gerard Butler, and Ava Longoria.
What?
Yes.
I've not heard of that film.
Exactly, mate. All-Star Weekend was made in 2016. It was supposed to be released in 2018, but now what happened was he was being interviewed about Day Watch, and they asked him questions about this movie, and this is what he had to say. It's been tough with the lay of the land when it comes to comedy. So when he was asked when fans might be able to see All-Star Weekend, he said, "We're trying to break open the sensitive corners where people go back to laughing again. We hope to keep them laughing and run them right into All-Star Weekend because we were definitely going for it." You know what's happened? They made a movie back in 2016
when you could get away with certain things, and now you can't. Oh my gosh!
Mate, he's turned around and said the movie's been shelved. And it stems on Robert Downey Jr.'s role. Apparently, and this goes back to him. Remember Tropic Thunder?
Tropic Thunder, blackface, and he was a black guy kind of thing. Yeah.
So in this movie, apparently he does it, but he plays a Mexican guy.
Is it? Yeah, it's not happening. Today's day and age, you can't. It's just not happening. It's just not going to happen. Because that will cause too much. It's a different. Yeah, he's right. It's a different sensitivity now. It's not going to happen. The film might be good. It might be a great film, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So Jamie Foxx was being interviewed like on the Joe Rogan, and he was like, he defended casting Downey as Robert Downey Jr. as a Mexican man, and he says you got to watch it in context, and you got to kind of see the movie and see the comedy for what it is. But here's the other thing: the movie stars Jeremy Piven, and I didn't know this, but he got caught in some sex scandal where some sexual abuse. So in all corners, Jamie Foxx, man, he's like, what does he do with this movie? This is directorial debut.
Gutted for him, man. Gutted for him.
At some point, it's got to come out, man. At some point, that movie's got to come out. All right, so listen, let's end on movie news, folks. Check this out. So Deval, one of our favorite movies of all time, and obviously one of our favorite Marvel movies, Avengers Infinity War. Obviously, this big, huge, money-making blockbuster, great movie, right? Check this out. It's just been surpassed by Top Gun as the 6th highest grossing movie of all time.
Shut up.
Top Gun just beat Infinity War, man. This is mad.
Oh, are you serious?
So,
what?
Top Gun Maverick now sits behind Black Panther's 700 million.
Are you serious?
It's overtaken Avengers Infinity War. It's still got a ways to go for Endgame, though. 858 million.
Oh my gosh!
But
is this
Avatar?
Is this domestic, or are you talking about worldwide?
This is domestic.
Oh, okay. US. Okay. Yeah.
This is the basic. So I
Yeah.
mean, the
That's really
signs
good.
are.
That's good. That's good though.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
I
good.
mean, it's a shame, obviously, because of obviously Infinity War, because to me that is just like
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a fantastic movie. But the fact that Top Gun, a movie based on prior IP, has just like swooped up, man. Tom
Mm.
Cruise must be smacking his lips, man.
Mate, do you know what? The film came out in May and it's still out now in the cinema here
Yeah,
in the UK. That
smashing
tells
it.
you everything. So yeah, he's. Do you know what? The film's done well. No one, everyone that I've spoken to that's seen it has said they liked it. No one said it's rubbish. So if
Yeah,
you ain't seen
yeah,
Top Gun Maverick, go watch it now.
yeah, exactly. Oh, and listen, sorry, I just want to quickly hijack this 1 minute. Have you got your remote control handy?
Yeah.
Right. Can you quickly go over to your Disney Plus?
Okay. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just do
This is
this.
this is this is this is live.
This is
Uh,
yeah.
s-
I want you to
experiments happening right here.
yeah.
I'm doing it
Now
right
I want you
now.
to type in when you go into Disney Plus. I want you to type in Avatar.
Avatar. Yeah. Don't tell me it's gone. Oh my gosh. Why is it not muting? I don't want sound. Okay, there we are.
Let me see. Let me-
Are you serious? Don't say that. Okay, let me see.
You know what? The bastards. They silently took it away
Why?
because you know what they're doing. They're
What?
re-releasing it in cinema.
Oh, because it's coming close to Avatar 2
December.
coming. Avatar 2 coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not here. I can see.
It's not. They silently took
Ah,
the bastard away. And what they're
ah.
doing is, if you want to watch it, because I was thinking, oh, when December comes, I'm going to watch Avatar again. Like I'll put it on
Mm.
Disney Plus. No, they took it away. So they're forcing people to go out and watch it. And you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
It's the highest movie of all, it's the highest grossing movie of all
yeah.
time, right?
It was. Yeah. No, no. I think hold on. Yeah, it's right now because it was re-released. It's literally just. It's so close. Avatar is 2.8 billion. Avengers Endgame is 2.7 billion.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's really close. So yeah,
Close. It's close. It's close. So,
yeah.
so folks, no Avatar until after December, probably. All right,
Mm.
let's do new and streaming now. Deval, we've been waiting. Excuse me. We've been waiting for this for quite a while, and
Yep,
She-Hulk is finally upon us.
yep.
That beast of a character. She's made it onto screens, and the first episode dropped on, was it Wednesday or Thursday? I can't even remember now.
Thursday 18th.
Thursday the 18th. So
Yep,
this is She-Hulk, attorney at law, starring Tatiana Maslany, Bruce Banner,
yep.
and that's basically the first episode is mainly those two, right?
Yeah, mainly. Yeah, that's right.
Mainly those two, and they do this thing obviously where in the first episode they give kind of like a backstory to how she
Mm.
gets her powers, and we go through all of that whole thing, and some funny kind of like moments with Bruce, and all this stuff going on. So you know what, I actually watched it twice, Deval. I actually was
Oh,
like, I
okay,
watched the whole thing, and I was like,
okay.
for me, it felt really breezy, really breezy. It was just like whizzed through it. I was like, no, no, let me go back and watch it because there was a couple of things that
Mm.
I didn't kind of get. And you know what? I didn't. I thought it was I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I thought it was decent. Like it was a great introduction to the character. We find out how she gets her powers, how the Hulk features in the whole thing,
Mm.
how they're related, and was really interested in seeing the CGI. Did they
Mm.
mess up? And I can't. I don't know. Did they do some? Did they do some touch ups or
I think
something?
they said to have improved it. I didn't really see anything majorly wrong with it, to be honest. It
Yeah.
just, I didn't see any issues with it. But I'm a bit like you. Like I enjoyed it. I've only seen it once so far. I enjoyed it,
Mm,
but my expectations with the Marvel shows now has gone low. So now I'm able to enjoy it without having to want
yeah.
too much. It's a comedy, not taking itself too seriously. She breaks the fourth wall from like the get go, and I was like, "Whoa, that pleasantly surprised me." I was like, "Okay,
Mm,
this is where we're at." So there's a few things in there that I think are maybe leading to other things. Possibly, some
yeah.
people are saying that the Sakarian spaceship that came onto the road and cause them to crash. Some people are saying that may lead to some sort of World War Hulk situation because they're coming, a scout ship coming to Earth. it wasn't for her. They're saying it was for Bruce Banner. They're
And
looking out for him.
obviously we need to find out what happens to that whole thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so
So
they also tied up that thing with Bruce and at the end of Shang-Chi. Remember when he was? Do you remember at the end of Shang-Chi where there's the after
yeah.
credits hand is instead of
Oh
the sling?
yes, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now we know kind of like what happens to his arm and everything. So he's able to. So if you haven't seen it, you kind of get to have that figured out.
Mm.
Also,
Ah,
there's Easter eggs in here. I'm not sure if you knew this, but there's a bit after she turns for the first time, she goes into a bar
yeah.
and she walks into the bar, and if you have a look to the side, there's a QR code on the wall.
Oh, is it?
You'll have to go back and watch this, but there's a QR code on the wall. If you click that QR code with your phone,
Mm.
it takes you to something, and which I thought was a great little Easter egg for fans. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you'll have to go and do it.
I need to do it now. Is it?
Yes. So it's like,
Ah.
and apparently, I didn't know this, Moon Knight had the same thing.
Mm.
Every episode, apparently, of She-Hulk is going to have a QR code.
I had no idea that they were doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Interaction, yeah.
Interaction. So there's things,
Okay.
and yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We've got 5 more episodes, and obviously we're going to be seeing. Don't forget. Oh, by the way, the ending. That the Titania. What the hell? Like
About Captain America, you mean, or?
oh, okay, by the way, Captain America. This whole thing about Captain America getting laid.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
wasn't even a thing, was it? In kind of like the MCU, but
Not
now it's
really,
become like a
yeah.
big thing.
Yeah. It's like it's her thing.
Her thing to find out
Yeah.
that Captain America, yeah, he did eventually get laid, which is quite funny, and yeah, but I mean that whole kind of like end thing with Titania and the way that She-Hulk deals with her, I thought that was quite funny.
Oh yeah,
Um,
okay.
and obviously she's going to have a bigger role, right? The villain
Yeah,
as the
she
villain.
is. She's going to be one of the main villains, I think. But you're right. She seemed kind of weak when she came into the courtroom. So
Funny, she went.
yeah,
Just a bit
exactly. It's
crazy.
very, very, very comedy. This show's going to be very, very much comedy led, I think. So I think if we keep having that comedy hat on, we won't be disappointed. I don't think.
Yeah, so go check
I
it
don't think
out.
so.
That's
Yeah,
She-Hulk, and that's airing every Wednesday, I think it is. That's when
yeah, I
they'll be
think
dropping
so.
the kind
Yeah.
of episodes. All right, so let's move on to this next one now. This is happening for me, Deval. This is happening for me tomorrow.
Same tomorrow, and do you know what? I'm looking forward to it. I've been holding my expectations for House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, and do you know what? I am looking forward to this one. I've gotten to know a little bit more about the families, the houses, the Targaryens, the what's the other one called again? The High Towers, and
Mm.
all the people that we kind of heard whispers of. Sometimes you'll watch Game of Thrones and you hear someone saying about this family, this Aegon, this Targaryen, or whatever, and you think, oh, I wonder what they were like. We'll get to see a bit about that now. So this could and should be good.
Yeah.
Could and should be good. So Game of Thrones, one of the things I'm really, it might sound silly, one of the things I'm really looking out for to see what it's like is the starting credits. I want to see if it's going to be anything like the original.
Like the original, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Ramin Jamin. Remember the music of Ramin Jamin?
Yes, ramming, jamming.
Ramin Jamin and the music, because that's iconic, man. That
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
opening thing where the thing comes up and everything. So we'll see how this all goes. And this is, by the way, just remind everyone again who's listening. How many years is this set in the past? Before,
I want to say 200 or
mm,
250 years or 200 years, something like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And we're gonna get more, aren't we? This isn't the first spin-off.
Yes, but I think some were shelved, and so I don't know what's happening, to be honest. I can't really say for sure because there were a whole like a host of spin-offs and other shows linked to Game of Thrones, but you just don't know now. Things have changed, but at least we're getting this for now,
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. We're getting this,
Yeah,
and this will be like a 10-episode thing. So keep your eyes peeled on with
yeah.
that. All right, okay. Let's move on to anniversary corner. So Deval, yeah, let's take us through this one. So this is a movie from 15 years ago to 2007, The Invasion.
Yeah, so the invasion. This one stars Bond and Nicole Kidman. So this one is like a remake of the, I guess you could say, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's the old school classic film from, is it the 50s even?
50s. Then they did a
Yeah,
remake in the
70s, I
90s,
think.
the 70s
Was
and
it?
90s
Yeah,
or
with
whatever.
Sutherland. What's his name?
Yeah, Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland, where he goes, and that funny noise.
Oh man, seriously.
If someone
That was
points at you
creepy.
like that in life, so if someone
Run.
goes like that in life, yes, you run. You just say nope and you
Nope.
run. Yeah. But yeah, this is Invasion. So it stars Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig. It stars Jeffrey Wright. So Daniel Craig and Jeffrey Wright, previously worked together.
Yeah.
And this one is, like I said, it's a good film. It's a solid film. It's directed by Oliver, surname I can't pronounce, Herschenbeigel. Looks like I can pronounce it.
Yeah.
And he previously made films called Downfall. I think he's a German director. So lots of German films, but yeah, this one is clever. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I think, is one of the most deadly ways to invade another civilization. I don't think coming down and waging war with bombs and stuff, that looks, is very Hollywood, and it kind of think you might think that's the worst way to do it, but no. If someone can
Way.
infiltrate your society,
I was just about to
infiltrate
say
your
that.
society and become yourself, look like you, act like you, and slowly take over your society. That is the most deadly. Look at what COVID done to us.
Mm.
Silently took over us and made our whole life way of life change. So
Mm.
this Invasion of the Body Snatchers is that great film, 2007. So that's what, 15 years. 15 years ago, it still does. You can watch it today
Holds
and be
up
very
well.
happy. Holds up well. But this is a really clever film, and
Yeah.
just think about, Marvel's Secret Invasion, I think it was, with the Skrulls, trying to take over Earth by imitating them. I'm sure they lent on films like The Invasion for
Oh,
those
of
sorts of
course.
ideas.
Look,
So,
listen,
mm,
we're gonna get into kind of like the big movie review, but that whole idea of kind of it leans into a bit horror though, doesn't it? In the sense that
yes, yeah,
is kind of like the worst nightmare that you could ever have. You're
yeah,
being watched, you're being infiltrated,
yeah.
almost like remember when we saw They Live?
Oh, mate, yeah, good
It's like
film, good
yeah, it's
film,
like
good film.
it's kind of they're already among us and they're living with us and they're kind of like
Yeah,
taking over.
yeah,
So that's Invasion. Go check it out. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it on streaming somewhere. But now, listen, let's move on to the main film. This is a movie that we've been sitting on for about a couple of weeks. We went out, we watched it, and this is a movie where you got to watch on the big screen and everything. So, this is Jordan Peele. What I found, Devaldo, there's a lot of kind of hype behind. Like when Jordan Peele announces that he's going to be making
yeah,
a movie, there's a lot of hype behind that.
yeah,
And the reason why that is because his movies they've been impactful for kind of like a number of reasons. There's talk about race in his movie, and this movie talks about race as well, the undertones of race, and people have kind of and he's kind of introduced kind of like even like a subgenre where it's race, but it's also kind of like horror as well at the same time, kind of like this psychological horror. In Get Out, which he teamed up with Daniel Kaluuye, I mean that was a great movie. That was
mm,
like
mm, mm, mm.
really really kind of like scary on so many different levels, and it was talking about race on so many different levels. And then the next one after that was Us, wasn't it? Was it Us?
Us, yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, again, our we I remember Deval and I we put up the trailer for Us on our YouTube channel, and
Yeah,
we got hits
yeah.
after hits after hits on that
Hundreds of
trailer,
thousands. Yeah,
and the
it's a
comments
lot.
were like amazing. I couldn't keep up
Crazy.
with the comments, man.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
this guy, when this guy announces a film, people listen up. The hype for me was real. I went into the movie thinking, "No, this is going to be great." And were you surprised about the whole kind of the genre bending, right? Where it's kind of like we've got sci-fi, and it's set in a kind of weird little kind of like western, almost like has this western feel to it, and there's some
Mm,
really iconic shots of cowboy imagery which I kind of note, which I thought about the movie. And again, Jordan Peele playing around with what we think of as kind of, oh, that type of a person or that type of a race doing that type of a role. I just thought it was brilliant. I thought he's kind of like, you know, switched roles around, and it had like a real huge impact for me. But listen, we'll get into that whole kind of, you know, the undertones of the whole thing. But listen, let's do a synopsis for the people listening. Deval, yeah. So how would you kind of like, you know, break this thing down? Because there's a lot of stuff going on there, man.
Yeah, a bit of a synopsis, I'll say. It's set out in California, I believe, and it's a family have a ranch. Family is Daniel Kaluuye, Keke Palmer's characters. Their father used to be the owner of the ranch. He's passed
Brilliant.
away. Yeah, Keith David from like the film you mentioned. Actually, they live.
They live.
And they ranch. They provide horses for the Hollywood, you know, film industry. You know, so they're horse wranglers, whatever you want to call them. So they've got a ranch, family business. They're doing their thing. That's the main sort of, I guess, thing that we're introduced to. And there have been some, you know, I don't know, suspicious activities in the past few months because Keith David's character, you know, died really mysteriously, just really mysteriously. And since then, 6 months ago, Daniel Kaluuye's character, you know, it's just changed him. He can't really focus at work. He keeps thinking how that happened, what happened. And I think since then, he's just sensed a presence around the ranch, which has made things, you know, quite unsettling. So that's really the main, because they're the main characters, those two, and
That's
other
it.
people are introduced into it. We've got Stephen Young's character, who was a child actor, was in a sitcom when he was younger, and he's around the area too. He has his own ranch where he has like an attraction, and then you have a technician guy who works in an electrical store who's introduced to the characters. He is someone that believes and
Yeah, he's
somebody
a
that
believer.
yeah, he wants to believe. He's sort of guy that you think would watch the X-Files and watch every episode. He wants to believe, and he uses his technical prowess to support their I guess their belief.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit of a synopsis, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good one. It's good. And then obviously when we're on this ranch, there's this crazy shit starts to happen, and then
Yeah.
so Daniel Kaluuya's character, he kind of realizes that there's something up in the sky,
Yeah. Yeah.
and for him and his sister, they see an opportunity. They're like, okay, here's the thing. We know that there's something up in the sky.
Mm,
It's aliens or whatever it is. Let's try and get like the money shot. Let's try and get famous from
mm,
this kind of
yeah.
this whole event thing. And then they bring in kind of like a film director in and everything, and there's this whole kind of whole thing going on.
Mm.
But
And that's
you know,
something actually that Jordan Peele he actually mentioned as part of the messaging behind this, because everyone's trying to capitalize on something, and that's the culture I think that we have in this day and age. Whatever it is, whether it's social media, whether it's your assets, look at OnlyFans or whatever it is, people are trying to capitalize on something. You've got Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuye. It's mostly Keke Palmer actually. She's the one that said, "Yeah, let's capitalize on this."
yeah,
Daniel Kaluuye is just a bit. He's a bit devoid. He just wants to know what's going on, but I don't think he really wanted to capitalize. But he guess he bought her. He bought into her idea. You've got Stephen Young's character, who was a child actor. I'm gonna mention now early on that there was an incident on one of his films where the
mad.
chimpanzee goes crazy and attacks the cast, bloody, you know, mauls them, which actually does happen. I've seen
Yeah,
documentaries of people that have been attacked by chimpanzees. They are ferocious,
they're
but
vicious.
both situations are about trying to, you know, capitalize on the situation. Stephen Young's his attraction park, theme park, he capitalizes on his past and what people know of that situation. He charges people to see memorabilia, you know, so everyone's capitalizing on something. And I think Jordan Peele says that it's about people trying to, especially Stephen Young, trying to tame something that you can't tame a beast, you
Can't
can't
tame it.
tame a lion, you can't a chimpanzee, you can't truly tame. And I think what Keke Palmer's trying to do, in a sense, is to try and capitalize and you know on the situation, and he's trying to even tame the UFO as well with Stephen Young.
Mm,
So there's all these little messages that I think Jordan Peele's trying to put across
it's great.
underneath a scientific spectacle.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and like you know, and you kind of get that. There's a bit in the at the beginning of the movie where
Mm,
you know they're on a film set with OJ, he's Daniel
yeah.
Kaluuya. The guy goes, "Oh, what's your name again?" He goes, "OJ." He goes, "His
Yeah.
name's OJ."
Yeah.
And the guy turns around and goes, "What is it? His name's OJ." He's like, and I think I can't
He
remember. He said,
pauses. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like the implication of OJ Simpson is like
Hmm.
it's there and everything. And it's
Yeah.
just like I just
Yeah.
thought, it's just so
Subtle,
like
but powerful.
subtle
Yeah.
but powerful. That it's all there. All right. Here's the thing. I want to just speak to you about Daniel Kaluuya's acting.
Yeah.
Did you notice, Devaldo? Did you notice that Daniel Kaluuya, he does this thing where he doesn't look at people when he's acting, or when he's kind of like I'm not sure if he picks up. I've noticed this
Mm.
in he did this thing in what was that movie? Judas.
Sicario.
He did it in Sicario. He was doing it in Judas and the Black Messiah. That
Hmm.
when he's acting, it's almost like as if he's looking at you, but then he's also looks to the side of you.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, man, he is so commanding. And in this movie, there's so many standout moments where I'm like, this guy's game has
Mm.
gone from there to basically up there, man. This guy is
Mm.
pushing boundaries. And I just kind of found like what he was doing in the scene with his eyes. It
Mm.
reminded me of Forrest Whitaker. Like honestly,
Okay.
the way
Okay.
he was
Okay.
walking, like early Forrest Whitaker.
Mm.
Um, you know, he was doing this thing even with the way he was walking, and
Mm.
he's become a big guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He was quite even weighty for this film. He seemed
Yeah,
to be a bit more weighty, and I think that added to the character.
big time, big time. And there's like so many iconic bits in there. But
Mm.
listen, the whole thing about Jordan Peele doing sci-fi and about doing like aliens. I mean, what is he trying to say with the kind of the aliens in the sky? Like,
Yeah, I think he's putting. I think there's also a message in that
yeah,
what we think of aliens in the sky, or what we think how they should be or could be, we have to just not think that way sometimes, because they may not be little green men. The what's in the sky could be the alien itself,
mm,
which in this film is the case. Spoilers, but in this film, like what you see, what's flying around there, like how we have birds. you
yeah,
know for another species of creature looking up at the sky and seeing a bird, they might think, oh, that's a spaceship with something inside. No, but we know it's a bird. They might not know that.
mm-hmm.
So this alien itself, this whatever it was, which was a feeding, it was almost like again, spoilers, this creature was feeding on
On,
on humans. It
yeah,
fed. And how long has it been there? Where did it come from? These are the questions we do not know answers to.
I
Which,
know.
for some great sci-fi films, it's good. We don't always get the answers we want.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know what they're doing. Obviously apart from the fact that they're feeding, but like why they
Mm,
came there and everything, and
mm,
it's just like, really interesting. Now, here's the thing. The bit with Stephen Yeun's character Devaldo,
yeah.
with that whole kind of the opening thing with the chimpanzee, which is quite
Mm,
that's quite horrific. Like there's horror in
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What do you think he was trying to say? Like, Jordan, like, Jordan Peele, what do you think his whole kind of thing was? That I get what you're saying about you can't, there's wildness in out there
Yeah.
and you can't seem to kind of like tackle it. But I was just like, it was just so, for me, it was just like really shocking scene.
And that's what happens in life. Sometimes you can be in a situation where you think you're in control, something looks nice, feels nice, but the true nature of something is going to be the true nature of what it is, and that's something you cannot change. And I think that's the message he was trying to put across in him trying to, obviously, as a child working in an environment with an animal that should be in the wild. This thing was clothed and could sign language and all sorts, but at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
hat on.
exactly anything can switch, and it could be an animal again. And then with the UFO that he was trying to use as part of his attraction, he thought he could tame it to just want to go and get the horse or something. No, this thing came for everyone, and you can't tame whatever it was. So
Trust
that's
me.
the message. I think that is the message that he was trying to put across in just
Yeah,
such a random, unexpected way. These
yeah.
things happen.
It's mad. Listen, it's definitely a film that you should go out and watch.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll ask you though, did you like it? Did you like?
you
Because
know,
I've asked this question to a few people that have seen it, and it's split the room.
yeah,
Some
no,
people are
I
saying,
no, like I know. I totally.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of, you know what, it's easy to see the kind of the alien thing and be like, oh, that's just a joke. It's just a laughy thing. Like, you know, the way it kind of transforms and everything like that, right? But I was looking at it more of kind of like, what are the messages behind what is this
Okay.
thing? You know,
Okay.
so for
Okay.
me,
Okay.
I was looking at it kind of like, you know, what is this movie trying to say about us
Okay.
as human beings?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
for me, I thought that was powerful.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
but you know, one thing that I did want to see though, you know, we haven't even spoken about this. Why is it called Nope? And
I can answer that question right there, right here now.
go
It's. I
do
think
it.
it's a black thing.
So
It's a
funny.
black thing. Jordan Peele, writer director, and I think there's no. I mean, The Ranch having Daniel Kaluuye and Keke Palmer. I know for me, there was a part in the film where he thought he saw aliens in the barn, and he was like, "Nope." That's the most visceral like reaction that I
Exactly.
would have. That's the same words I would say as I run away. I like most films, most like films you see white people and
They go
something happens and they're
into
like,
danger.
"Ooh, what's going on there? Let me go and investigate." And they go closer to it. Nah, that's what I'm saying. Most horror films, if it was just black people, it would last 5 minutes because we're saying nope and we're running.
Exactly.
Film over.
It was so funny. There's that scene where exactly what you mentioned. There's another scene where he's in the car. He's just about to get out of the
Yeah,
car, right? And then
yeah,
something happens, and he's like, "Nope." It's
yeah,
just the way he drops it. It's
yeah,
just the
yeah,
way they just drop the word "nope." It's just
yeah.
unbelievable. But you're right, man. And it's another thing. What Jordan Peele is trying to say is just like, when you see something like that, well, you're not going to go into it. Realistically
Mm-mm.
speaking, humans,
Yeah.
man, we don't have a backbone when it comes to those things. You're not going to
Mm-mm.
go into the bloody
Mm-mm.
burning fire and like, you
Mm-mm.
know,
Mm-mm.
it's a nope situation, and we get that all the
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely think that's the reason. Why he called it that. All the names of his films, I think they translate not just in a written sense, but in an emotional sense as well. Get Out. Us. That's got
Mm.
lots of connotations there. And Nope. Yes, that is literally what you should say and do
In a
when they
lot of
situate.
situations,
Exactly.
not just when it's an alien. It's just kind of like in a lot of situations, you're like,
Yeah.
nope, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that. So listen,
Exactly.
for me, it's a yup. It's like honestly, it's like for me. I reckon you should go out and watch it.
It's worth a watch. Yeah, it's worth a watch. I do think
Yeah,
in his trilogy of movies, I would personally place it as the third.
as the third one, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think I did like Us better, but yeah, I think Get Out for me is there then Us.
Get
I
Out
think
for me is up
there's a
there.
bit of a decline going, so I think the next film is going to really, show what's going on really with Jordan Peele.
I
So
wonder
yeah.
if he tackles. I wonder, like, if he's gonna, like, you know, do like, because this is like, you know, the conversations about race and everything, they're there. The undertones, you've got to read into them, the whole thing. But he hasn't kind of tackled them like straight on. But you know, maybe he goes back to comedy, doing a comedy or something. Who knows? Because we
Possibly.
haven't seen a film, a comedy film
Yeah.
from him, right?
Well, someone told me the other day that he wrote or he directed a film about a cat.
Oh,
And it was him and Key and Peele. They did it together about a movie about a cat, a real movie, and it was comedy. But yeah, I've not seen it. A few
there you
years
go.
ago. Yeah.
There you go. All right, folks, that is the
Yep.
movie of the week. Go check it out. If you do see it, let us know. Was it a yup or was it a nope for you? Keep in touch with us on social media. We're there. Find us. Watch this episode if you want. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just pop in the Flixters podcast.